All right, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. Tonight we have another edition of Hong Kong House of Cards, Vampire Edition. Well, KOTE Edition at this point, since the only vampire being used right now is a Kindred of the East. We have Cheng Gormu, who is on his way through the
Mao.
streets. What'd I say?
You said you called Chen Gormui,
Cheng Gormao, sorry.
not Mao. Mu.
Moo. Moo?
No,
Okay.
just call him Brother Cheng, you
Brother-
racist bastard.
Brother Cheng.
Uncultured swine.
Brother Cheng, who is currently going through the streets after hearing some information about unusual strike teams being seen in the area, moving people, moving facilities, parts, things like that. So you are heading into the walled city area, which is where the majority of the street urchins and the people live. Ever since the plague was brought under control, there have been people that have been returning that were thought lost, people that were thought missing, and more people that may have had their homes destroyed that have had to go into the walled city to eke out a living. It's basically where the majority of the homeless population were. You know that up until the end of the blood plague, the the contamination that was affecting the water supply, there had been about 25 to 50,000 people that had lived in this area, and almost all of them had gone missing. It's slowly come back to normal. People coming back out of their hidey holes, people that were thought gone or dead have actually been seen walking around and talking again. One of these people is a little urchin boy. You can call him whatever you want, since he's basically your influence contact for the street. Sent you a message through little notes saying that he'd seen some things that he thought you might be interested in.
Naturally, Brother Cheng Gormui. How are you supposed to pronounce it, but nevertheless. Brother Cheng
Gormoy.
There, you got it. Anywho, yes, Brother Cheng will naturally respond to this letter in Morse. He'll make this a... Well, he won't actually like respond as in write or text or phone or whatever. He'll just like kind of show up.
All right. Did you want to give this guy a name, or is he just going to be street urchin number B?
Why don't tell you what?
We'll just gloss over it for now.
Why don't we just call him Shrimp?
Shrimp. Okay. Last name fried rice. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So Shrimp's gonna mosey over to you and look around real quick. Brother Cheng, I don't know if you've heard, but there have been some black suited jackboots running around.
Are they from Beijing's government?
I've put out some feelers on the streets. Old Tong members that survived the purge. They seem to think it was some kind of allied movement.
Do you know where to find them? These black-suited gentlemen.
They've been running around in black Hummers. I've seen a couple of helicopters flying overhead that didn't fit with the PLA. Don't know how they're getting away with it. They must have it in there or something. But I've also heard about warehouses that are being taken over. I don't know if you heard about the warehouse of the Tong that got flipped on its head.
Assume that I have.
One that got taken down, rebuilt, and refurnished. So there's that one. There's a couple of others out there as well on the warehouse district I've also heard about some weird electrical disturbances over there. Excuse me. But this is something that's quite unusual. One of the professors from the university, he was a nice guy, used to come over, give us some money, actually bought me a meal once, said he was interested in genetic diversity or something like that. I heard that he got arrested under suspicion of treason, but he's going to lean in. It wasn't the PLA that arrested him or Hong Kong PD.
Do you know where he is being kept?
If it was the jackboots, it is probably one of the warehouses down by the pier. They had to rebuild a few of them after the mining explosion, which still didn't make sense to me. And then the one that got flipped on its head, which they still didn't explain how that happened. Needless to say, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the warehouse district. And after the Tong purge, we thought that maybe we could try to pick up some of our own spaces there. But these jackboots were on the scene. Hell, they even beat the Triad out there. You bet old Ping Mai's pissed off about that. He's trying to claim all that territory for himself after what happened.
Thank you, Shrimp. And Brother Cheng will probably take a wallet, which is obviously not his, out of his pocket, and he'll hand it to Shrimp.
Shrimp will take it, look through it.
There's probably a little bit of money in there, probably enough to keep him fed for at least him and probably a few other people fed for at least a couple of days a week at the most.
Right. He'll take the cash out and stick it in like a sock. I'll make sure this gets into the mailboxes so it can go back to whoever owns it. Just without the cash, of course. And he'll kind of smile at that.
Say a prayer to Guan Yu.
Did you say Guan Yu or? Sorry, I missed you. You said from say a prayer to.
Naturally, you probably will know this is one of the Shrimp and anyone from Hong Kong would know that this is a certain. It's a certain Taoist deity. It's one that's worshipped by people who need defense, as it were, which is why quite a lot of law enforcement officers like to worship this one as well. You're
talking to probably one of the few people in the game who actually knows the legend of Guan Yu as both a warrior and as a deity. So,
oh yes, thank you. I don't have to explain myself too much then. So you know why Brother Cheng is saying that.
Yeah, he'll nod his head. May the three generals watch over you as well, and he will head off. Of course, only one of the three generals ever became deified. But, yeah.
And Brother Cheng will now that he's been pointed in the right direction, he's going to go down to the docks to this particular warehouse just to see what it's about.
Okay. There's probably, given that it's Hong Kong, there's a lot of warehouses in the docks/warehouse district. So you'll notice that when you're down there, there's some lights flickering back and forth. Looks like they may be losing power, or there may be a power interruption somewhere in the area. But unless you have a significant knowledge of technology or electrical systems, it'd be kind of hard for you to figure it out or what you could do about it. Roll perception investigation difficulty 8.
No investigations, I'm afraid.
Okay. Perception alertness diff 8. I'm guessing you have perk alert.
Perk alert?
Perception alertness.
Yes, perception alertness.
Yeah.
He also has -2 to his perception rolls. So this brings it down to standard. He doesn't use.
Jeez.
Well, Yeah, that's 6 successes if Uncanny Instinct applies. Otherwise,
It's not. It's well, you would be trying to spot something out of the blue, so I'd say that's legitimate use of uncanny instincts. All right, you spot a black Humvee sitting near one of the warehouses. Only seems to be one. It has no markings and it has blacked out plates.
like no license plates whatsoever.
No, it has a license plate. It's just that the plate. Have you ever seen those? Have you ever seen people that completely black out their cars, like they throw like smoked over their lights and things like that? Or is that just an
No.
American thing?
It must be just an American thing. I've never seen anything like that.
Right. Where the license plate would be, there's a blacked out piece of plastic covering it, like it's been spray painted on the inside.
Okay.
So definitely unusual.
Well,
No.
now that he's found that, Brother Cheng is going to spend 2 yin for the White Tiger corpse, one for himself and one for his possessions to render himself invisible.
Okay.
He's going to slowly stalk his way over to that particular car.
All right. Looks like the car has a keypad on it, like a touch keypad that you would use to access it without a key. It's completely smoked out on the windows, so it's like what would be classified as illegal tint, more like horribly illegal tint at this point. It'd be about 10% light penetration. So you could see inside if you were able to roll high enough on perception alertness.
Which we most likely will be able to do once. Okay, I think that's enough for activating heightened senses.
Okay. Yep.
Just going to reduce this roll to a fucking. Well, assuming I don't botch or anything, perception alertness or anything.
Yep.
Yokey-dokes. Let's see. Yeah, I think I get it.
Mm-hmm. Uncanny instincts wouldn't apply, but that's still enough. So
I think the 2 actually might apply as well.
no, it'd be a difficulty 4. So
Okay.
Because perception alertness, heightened sense, if I remember correctly, only lowers the perception difficulty by 2.
Yep. And add that with the heightened acute senses merit.
Yeah. So 3. So yeah, almost a complete rollover, but
Missed it by that much.
yeah, pretty much. So you're looking inside and you see the back seat is filled with guns. The cargo compartment has what looks like capture devices, taser rifles, nets, bola launchers. You can see manacles, you can see handcuffs, what looks like collars, things of that nature.
Brother Cheng is going to power down heightened senses because, we don't want to do something which would otherwise cause ourselves to be blind, deaf, and, well...
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, once that's done, Brother Cheng is going to... Actually, before he does power down his heightened senses, would he be able to try and track if there's any I'm just trying to think of a way to properly word this. Is there any way that you can examine the surrounding area just to see if there's any trace as to whether, which direction the obvious people who are driving this this Humvee may have gone?
Yeah, there's enough. You don't really need a perk alert. It's right near the door entrance, like the office door entrance to the warehouse nearby. There's a ground floor door. Then there's a staircase that leads up to a door about 3 stories up. This is on the side away from the actual delivery zone. So it looks, and it does not look like it's native to the warehouse itself, that somebody made it as an addition. You'll notice that the stairwell has a mesh gate on it, and there is a fingerprint pad on it.
And what do... Right, so there's a fingerprint pad on the door leading to the office.
Well, it's kind of a
what-
mesh gate, but yeah. The door, the
All right, hang
office
on.
door.
Can you just say this again? I'm just trying. I think I may have misheard.
There's an office door on the bottom floor. Then there's a stairwell next to it that looks like it's somebody built a stair scaffolding leading up to a door that's about 30 stories up. Not 30 stories, 3 stories up. 30 feet, 3 stories, yeah. I never described the door. I was describing there's a mesh gate on that stairwell scaffold that has a thumbprint analyzer on it. Since you're looking at the door, at the ground floor door, you'll notice that there is a retinal scanner, thumbprint scanner, and a 9-pin touchpad activating as a locking mechanism for the door.
But the mesh thing that's over the door leading up to the 3rd floor, that's just got the mesh door on
Yeah,
it.
it's just a mesh grate. Looks like it's meant to swing open, and you do see wires running to it.
Running to it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I just got a message on Facebook. Just give me a second.
No problem.
It's not actually this game related, it's another game related.
Okay.
Okay. Right. On a cursory glance of the door leading up to the mesh, mesh door protection, whatever, do these wires look like they're actually connected to the mesh proper, or is it just wired to the thing? The
thumbprint scanner?
Yeah.
Both.
Well, yeah, fuck it. Brother Cheng is going to spend another yin for corpse skin to give himself an extra bruise level or 2. And because, you know, heavy yin imbalance also renders you be able to soak fire damage, technically. He's going to run one finger along the mesh.
Okay.
I'm just going it out there.
All right. Fortunately, it's not going to be too bad.
Very likely, should I say?
Yeah. So no damage. You are stunned and knocked back as you take a full amp.
Say again?
I say no damage, no physical damage, but you are stunned and knocked back. Like, have you ever licked a electrical socket?
No, I'm not that stupid.
Okay. Have you ever accidentally...
Though I have been given electric shock, and whilst it's not exact, I wouldn't exactly have said it was the licking electric socket. What the fuck, man? Seriously.
I'm just saying. Have you ever accidentally touched a plug that was still partially into a wall socket?
No, but I have touched an electric fence before.
Okay, it's like that.
Don't ask me what I was doing.
I'm from the Midwest. I'm sure it's probably nothing I haven't heard before. So, so yeah, it's basically like that. Like you just touched an electric fence.
Either way. Yeah, that was kind of just what I was sort of expecting. Okay, looking at that, Cheng is probably going to just examine around this particular warehouse now that he actually knows that security measures aren't anything to sniff at.
All right. Let's see. Around the back of the warehouse, you see a dock height loading dock. So if you think probably about 8 or 9 feet off the ground, at the point where where a freight truck can back into it, and stuff can be taken evenly off of it. Probably not 9, probably more like 6 foot tall. There are 2 steel reinforced warehouse doors that have come down. And since you're invisible, you don't have to worry about the guard that's walking around with a AK-47, smoking a cigarette and looking suspiciously around. He is wearing a all black military outfit with no discernible markings, and has a black military cap and black steel toe boots on. There is the only thing that you can see, and I need a perception awareness from you for this real quick.
Okay. Even with those ones, that is still
That's still a pretty decent success there. Yeah,
Yep.
you see a small patch on his side, on his arm, that says STA.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This loading things for the trucks or anything like that, is it open or closed?
It's currently closed. There is a phone on the door. There's a center door, and then there's the 2 loading doors. The center door has similar safeguards as the other door that you saw. Plus, there is a white phone sitting next to it with 1 button in the center.
And the button, I presume the button is not the history eraser button.
Nope, you wish it was.
It would have been interesting.
It's basically
it would have started the great cycle again. You know, skip over the 6th stage, not the 1st stage again.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, but in all seriousness, I'm presuming that one button is something like alarm or alert or something like that.
Have you ever? You've been in airports before, right?
No.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the white courtesy phone?
Think so.
It's basically a phone with a button on it. You push the button to call to the actual line. If the phone rings, you pick it up. It only goes to 1 line.
Oh,
So,
the one-way phone, yeah, kind of like the thing that the president and the premier had during the Cold War. Yeah, something like that.
That would be it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Are you going to do anything else here, or are you going to continue on your slow circle of the complex?
Yeah, probably going to keep that guy in mind, and we're going to slowly, rotate backwards.
Okay. As you continue on, you get to the other side of the wall. You see that there is a big power junction box there. And beside the power junction box is about 12 good-sized containers for generators. They appear to be steel reinforced, and they are heavy locked. Like you would need bolt cutters the size of most people's what's the word I'm looking for? The size of most people's legs to be able to cut the bolts of those locks. And you can hear a steady hum of them.
Either that, or some bone talents, or a nice sublime horror, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that we actually see that, yeah, Chang is probably going to go background to the vehicle.
All right. Just want to do a quick intelligence check real quick.
Intelligence plus.
Just straight intelligence. It's more something that might occur to you from seeing all that.
One success.
All right. It's one success. Whatever is in there is requiring an inordinate amount of power.
Okay. Interesting.
All right. So
everything else. Let me ask one last question.
Sure.
Everything in this warehouse district, besides the guard on the outside, the warehouse district is pretty much devoid of any activity. Correct?
This area in particular, you do hear some dock workers down the way. It's nighttime, really, so there's not a lot of activity in the warehouse district at all, especially since one of the warehouses tried to walk and beat somebody up, and another warehouse got knocked into a micro volcano, et cetera, et cetera. This place has kind of become a let's not be here after hours sort of thing. Get home as quick as possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Brother Cheng, upon looking at it, remind me, inside that car, you said that there were guns and things like that, right?
There were assault rifles, there were grenade launchers, things like that, and then in the back were capture weapons.
Okay.
So you got lethal, non-lethal.
Okey-dokes. Okay. Brother Cheng is going to go back to that. Upon remembering that, Brother Cheng is going to go back to that guard. And I think we're going to spend another 2 chi points to bump up corpse skin. It's maybe the stupidest idea ever, or maybe the most genius idea ever. Now let's knock that off. Basically, with permanent fangs, basically Brother Cheng would like to creep upon this guard whilst there's no one round, I'm presuming.
Okay, roll. You are technically invisible, but you do still need to roll a dex stealth in case you like stub your toe or something.
Okay.
Because that's pretty much what a botch would be. Oh, son of a bitch! Did you?
One success if precise counts, because we are trying to be we are like somewhat invisible anyway. So
technically, the 10 would get knocked out first by the 1. So
okay, so
usually, if you've got a
one
10 and a 1, you don't get any specializations. So
that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Either
No.
if you have 1 and it knocks off a success, a 1 does not knock off 2 successes.
No, but a 10 is only specialized if there's no 1, because we do the rule where the highest one gets
That
knocked
does
out
not make any
first.
sense. Either a 10 is a specialty or it's not.
This is the way that we've had to run it. I've had many people who have lost specializations because the 10 got knocked out first. It only counts as a 1 if it's a successful success.
It still doesn't make any success.
I'll let you keep the 9. That's fine. But that's the way that we've been running it since I've been a player in this game, let alone running it.
Okay.
So you're able to sneak up on him. Well, I need to roll his perception awareness because he's still. Well, hot damn. I apologize for that. Okay, as you're sneaking up, he turns and his gun's aimed right in your direction, like he's wide-eyed and afraid.
Okay. That's a clinch. And I'm presuming that Kalashnikov is too long.
You're what are you
grabbing
doing?
him around his throat.
Okay. He is going to Dex Athletics away. 2 successes, so you have 1 success to grab him.
Okay.
All right.
Biting and draining blood. or
Okay.
chi.
All right. I've one thing I still haven't figured out about KOTs. Do they enact a kiss or not?
Well, technically speaking, they have to manifest their. They have to roll. Technically speaking, they have to roll Hun in order to like grow the fangs.
Okay.
Technically, it also requires the expenditure of a point of demon chi. But Brother Cheng does have the
Permanent fangs. Yeah.
he has permanent fangs, so he doesn't need to do that. Though that does kind of like, you know.
Well, I'm just trying to figure it out because
Okay.
usually when regular kindred, unless they're Giovanni or they've got grip to the dam, they bite someone with the intent to feed and they enact the kiss, which means that the person goes into the dreamlike state. If they are Giovanni or they do.
That. It depends entirely on whether they're draining yin chi or yang chi, but mechanically, it's a matter of role playing in that regard. But mechanically speaking, it's really no different from the kiss.
Okay. All right. So he falls back into a dreamlike state as you take his chi.
Uh-huh.
Are you taking enough to kill him or just enough to knock him unconscious?
Well, we need 3 chi to bring it back up to 8 yin. And, well, we're going to have a bit of use for this guy. Well, I say this guy. For that one turn, I think we can spend the 1 chi to activate. Spend a point to get 1 extra soak. Which kind of brings it back down to 7, and then another 3 to, so basically 6.
You're taking 6 from him?
Yes.
Okay, he dies.
Okay.
All right, so you are holding a corpse.
Okay. We're going to drag this corpse into the shadows, as it were.
Okay.
And along into, well, Brother Cheng's got high enough strength to do this shit anyway, so he's going to drag them into the shadows and drag them back to that power generator.
Okay.
And he's going to lift the body up. Presuming this power generator is not protected anyway. I mean, it's quite I'm assuming the generator's got like some sort of like the twirly things at the top.
No, these are like old school buy in the store power generators, but they're big and they've got steel reinforced coverings on them. So it's like there's a housing that you have to unlock to lift up to get access to the power generator.
Oh, all right. Okay. Right, and the thing that is locked, is it like an actual like lock that you put your key in?
It's like a deadbolt about like this big with about like that, this thick of a steel bolt on it. It's meant so that people don't get into it.
Okay. Could I do a larceny check on that thing to open it up?
Do you have any larceny tools like pick lock picks or things like that?
You can grow them.
All right, so you're gonna
with bone obedience. I will need to spend a point of yin chi for that, but I can do that.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make larceny check.
Okay.
Difficulty 8.
All right. According to the things I'm looking at, the thing that I'm looking at will reduce this by 3, so that's shit. Dex larceny, you say?
Yeah. Does it let you fine tune the shape of it, or is it just claws?
It says you can form your fingers into a skeleton key capable of opening any normal lock. By 3. I'd say yes, but it's really up to you.
That's fine. If it's meant to act as a skeleton key power, that perfect. I mean, it's a simple bolt lock.
Okay, dokes. Precise, I think, would count in this because it's very fine-tuning movements.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's still 1 success.
Okay, you're able to unlock one of the secure covers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, dokes. Remove the cover. Is there anything in there that looks like it may be it may mess stuff up, should I say?
Well, it's one of 5, and then there's the main power line that's going into the wall that looks like a tree trunk.
The main power line, you say?
Yeah. The
And that's
generators
the
are
thing
the.
that's
Sorry,
touch.
I forgot to mention the power line, or I thought I did already.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, you didn't.
Huh.
Well, that's actually even better.
Yeah.
You didn't need to do that shit anyway.
Well, you can
I
tell.
won't ask to wreck on that shit. Let's
No
just say
problem.
that it just notices like the main power line, and it's like, right. I'm presuming that this main power line leading into the building is exposed, should I say? And it probably has like the signs that says "Do not touch," fear of death, do not be a complete idiot, do not lick this stuff.
Yeah, it's covered in like a housing, like a rubber housing, and it's set up right next to the 5 generators. The way it's meant to be is that if anything stops the power from going in from there, those 5 generators turn over all available power that they've got into the facility.
Okay. Well, that messes up my plan.
Sorry, it's the government. It's redundancies.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. there is some OSHA compliance with a lot of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, I come to think about it, forgotten. Brother Cheng would naturally have checked that body for any keys or anything.
There is a swipe card.
Mm-hmm. And I'm presuming that same swipe card would allow access to either door. Or does it?
It looks like the swipe card fits a slot on the 9-pin access panel, with the same as it's the same part of the same locking mechanism as the retinal scanner and the thumbprint.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And there's nothing else in that person which, well, I'm just thinking out loud here.
An AK-47, a couple of clips, looks like some grenades, maybe 2 grenades, a wallet, the swipe card, a boot knife, and a pack of Parliament menthols.
I'm just thinking. Okay, I think I should do an Enigmas check on this thing here, because I'm thinking, if I am thinking what I'm thinking, then we may have just found an entrance, or we may not.
All right.
1 success. This is basically what I'm thinking. We use the guy's hand on the thumbprint analysis. We use his head, or his eyes, should I say, for the retinal scan. And we use a swipe card thing for the slot thing.
Right. Your Enigmas check will let you know that as long as they're not biometric, that would work. The swipe card still needs a password on the 9-pin, and without knowing how many digits are needed or the proper sequence, you could probably get 3 tries before it locks you out and sounds an alarm.
Figured as much. All right. Well, how long do we have? Would you reckon? Well, I'm just saying this because I just got told that I've got another scene. But,
if you want to back off and take this information to somebody else, we can call it now.
No, I meant more like how long until, sun rises or whatever.
Let me check the current time in Hong Kong. I mean, we could basically just say that it's probably middle of the night, say around 1 a.m. So you probably have about another 5 hours for sunrises.
Okay. Right, I'm just thinking. Right, these boxes that you mentioned outside near the generator, are any of them empty?
No. Those boxes each house a separate independent generator. And each one is locked in a similar manner and housed in a similar manner. But if you place like your hand on it, you can feel the thrumming of an active generator underneath them.
Okay. All right. Okay. We're at the docks, right? How far away is this warehouse from, like, the riverfront?
I would say probably about half a mile. It's a large warehouse district.
Mhm.
This is one of the ones that's closer to the old district part of town.
Okay.
So it's very strategically located, I'll say that much.
Okay. Well, in that case, Brother Cheng is probably going to leave the body in the dark, at least temporarily. He probably will. Well, he'll probably try and smear some of the Yinchi over that AK-47 and the grenades. Obviously, put the swipe card and the boot knife in his pockets, because actually, yeah, the grenades would probably go in the pockets as well.
All right. Do you have any
Yeah,
demolitions or explosives knowledge?
No, but it's a grenade, you know.
Yeah.
And
Was
I've
this-
also, well, I've done that shit before anyway.
All right. There is a white stripe at the bottom of the grenade.
That's not good news. I know where you're going with that, mate. Of course, brother. I don't think Brother Cheng would really get that, but yeah, it's going to be you're going to be very careful about these things because reasons. Keep the fucking pin in the grenade.
If the pin comes out, keep the lever,
Yeah,
firmly attached.
yeah. Keep the lever down. Keep the safety lever down there. Otherwise, you've probably got between 3 to 5 seconds. It may go longer, but who's stupid enough to try?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. In that case, well, I think this is probably what we've done thus far is a good enough message. But I think, for a start, we're going to have to deliver this Kalashnikov and the grenades. Probably we'll deliver that to Pai Mei. That's a Pai Mei. Wan Ping.
Okay.
And once we do, because once we do that, we'll also request that he, if he has influences, the request to try and trace this particular gun.
If you're heading to see Pai Mei, Wan Ping, you've got me doing it now.
Yeah.
No, Pai Mei is actually another NPC that's probably going to be coming up soon. He will look it
That's a
over.
character from Kill Bill.
It is. It's the headmaster of the White Lotus Society. So it's a joke, running jokes. You gotta love them. Wan Ping will look over what you bring him and said, "Do you hand him anything like the guard's ID or anything like that?"
Yes, we do that because it's important.
Yeah.
So he will.
Oh, sorry,
he will mention that that the guard that he did kill this particular guard. Though he did not leave any. He didn't leave too much of a trace that could suggest that it was the Hungry Dead that did this, because bone flowers.
Right.
But
Wan Ping will look it over and say, "I have some sway that I can call upon. Let me see what I can find out, and I will inform you as to what I learn. This sounds like this may be a dangerous place to go alone again. If you have any allies you wish to take with you, if you should decide to go after them again."
I would request someone who knows electronics. I could not get through the door, though I wished to.
The only people in this region I know are the technocratic heretics.
Perhaps alternative would be to have a thrashing dragon who is knowledgeable of Yang spirits. Perhaps they could use some technology to assist us.
I'll speak to Azumi to see if she knows anyone that might be able to help in that regard. If you happen to chance upon anyone, perhaps you would let me know.
I will keep my ears open.
He'll nod his head. Fortunately, this is not a issue. I am curious what drew you over to that location in particular to begin with.
Obligations.
Obligations lighter than air and
Obligation.
heavier.
Obligations to my Dharma. We watch over those who have lost. We watch over our mortal herds. We watch over them. They offer our prayers. They offer their condolences. We urge them to remember the dead. They have had taken people those who I placed under my protection, who have petitioned me for my protection. It would be dharmically unwise for me to deny them.
You must follow your path wherever it leads. Your Dharma will lead you appropriately, of course. So the 9-year-old with the soul of the 80-year-old will at that point place his hands together like this and offer a small prayer to the ancestors before opening his eyes again.
Say again? Kind of just went out there.
Oh, I said that. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a frog in my throat. So the 9-year-old with the soul of the 80-year-old will place his hands together and offer a prayer to the ancestors before opening his eyes and then saying, "If you should need further assistance, you know where to turn." Did that come through okay, Jason? Jason? Did you hear anything? I just heard you exhale. Crap.
Oh, there we go.
Got it?
Yeah. What happened?
I don't know what happened. I could hear you fine, but I can't. It's just like you couldn't hear me.
Yeah. I just opened up Facebook. Maybe that was the problem. But anyway, what did you say after Wang Ping said he put his hands together?
Oh, he offers a prayer to his ancestors, and then he opens his eyes again and looks to you and says, "Should you need any more assistance in your following your dharmic path, please let me know. I'm always here to help ours."
If I may, I would like to request tuition in learning the chi art of yin prana.
It should not be difficult for you to learn. If not myself, Brother Jolie is well adept in the arts of yin prana, but unfortunately, I've got to look at this character sheet to figure out who would be able to help you out there. But finding you a suitable tutor will not be a difficult measure.
Thank you. And Brother Cheng will give a courteous bow.
It'll be returned by Wan Ping, and then he'll go back to doing whatever it is a Bodhisattva, the resplendent crane, will do. All right, and is there anything else you want to do before I call scene?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right. Thank you, players, for playing. I didn't see any watchers, but if you're watching this later, thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another fabulous edition of Hong Kong House of Cards, Kindred of the East edition, where the Dharma is made up and the Hun doesn't matter. Have a good night.